Hey everyone, and welcome to another Marks & Crafts figurine review. Today we're going to be looking at the 1/7 scale Houshou Marine statue from Hololive, produced by Max Factory. Now, I've spoken briefly about Hololive in the past in my previous Houshou Marine review, which was the Relax Time prize figure, and that my history with Hololive and VTubing in general is very, very minor. I just really like the designs of the characters, but I just don't really watch VTubers that much. I don't even just watch live streams that much. It's just not really my thing. But I really like the concept, and I just love the character designs. And after twiddling my thumbs for a while, really umming and ahhing about if I wanted this figure or not, I finally bit the bullet and grabbed it, and she's out now, and this box is not only gigantic, but I'm hoping the figure is incredible. I've seen a few photos from Japan, and that seems to be the case. And yeah, it seems a bit weird dropping this much money on what is effectively an original character, but I think it looks cool, so why not? So right off the bat, forgive me if I mispronounce anything or don't really understand anything about the character or any minor references and things like that. This is me just going in blind, just because I like the design and I grabbed a figure, so forgive me if I'm not up to date on any particular jokes or something like that, or in references, not really sure. But quickly having a look at the box, you can see there's this beautiful promo art on the front. It just looks fantastic. You can also see how big it is compared to my head. This is quite a nice box. There's a lot of colour, very clean, very well designed. On the side, there's a massive promo image of her from this sort of side angle. On the back, we've got a bunch of other promo images, as well as a really nice splash image here, as well as all the legal info down the bottom, and another promo image on the side, just name and rough branding on the top. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a nice looking box for a very premium figure. I got this from Ami, not sponsored, and they are only doing this as single shipment, and I can kind of see why. It's a very big figure, but I think it could have fit in another box, but I'm just going to accept it for what it is. But yeah, we'll just crack it open and have a better look. And now, with a surprising amount of assembly for what is effectively sort of like a diorama type statue and an expensive and fragile-ish statue, we've got Houshou Marine, and she looks pretty damn incredible. I am looking at this from a different angle than the camera, but even from what I'm seeing here, just looks fantastic. There's some beautiful detail work, some amazing painting, and we will get into all of those details in due time. But the first impressions, this is a fantastic pose, incredible figure, really has a lot of presence. So first up, we'll take a look at the sculpt, and to do that, we've got to get in a bit closer. So starting with her head, the hat is a separate piece, and it is beautifully detailed. There's some incredibly nice curves and folds in the hat. Her hair is beautifully detailed as well. You can see not every individual strand, but there's a good amount of individual strands detailed in them. They've got quite a bit of depth to them. They're not just like painted as a shade. It's almost like there's additional paint and detail work put on. The eye patch is floating. I don't know if like the eye patch is literally just like an image thing, like she can't see out of one of her eyes. I can't really remember from the Relax Time. I don't remember her having an eye patch, but she might have. I don't have that figure anymore, so I can't really compare, but I might have a photo up. But whether or not she can or cannot see through that eye, she's got it closed anyway. The eye patch has got this really nice dynamic fold to it, like it's falling off. The sort of ribbon on her neck is flowing as well. It's really nice. Do a closer look again. The pose of her fingers on her mouth look great. Her expression is great as well. Her arm back here holding back the folds of the hat, so it's like a tassel folding through, and it sort of follows the same flow of her hair, which is very cool as well. I like that. It's just a really nice detail. And further down, her outfit is in multiple parts, multiple colors, multiple shades. Just really cool. I like this top. It looks nice. I know this is her main iconic outfit, which is cool, and I like it. I like her main design. There's some nice little details here. These are all like separate, like carved in pieces. They're not just paint apps making that detail. It all feels like it's got like texture to it. The collar's nice. The detail work on a sort of like undershirt is really, really nice. It's very tight and form-fitting. You can see a lot of the detail of her muscles or her body shape looks nice. There's a little bit of her skin peeking out there. The skirt is a floating piece, and there's a lot of nice detail on that as well. So that's really cool. Her thighs look great, and you can see they are detailed properly because there's a little bit of a gap where the thigh starts and the stockings start, which is nice. I like that. Part of the reason why I like 2B from near. Moving down, the legs look fantastic, as well as the shoes. There's some lovely detail work done in them. Natural folds, everything looks fantastic. There's even ruffles in the shoes. It's not just a random shape. It's all detailed properly, which is very, very good. Now, moving out just a teensy bit, you can see the base that she's on, which is put in multiple pieces. I'm counting her jacket as part of the base because it's sort of separate to her as a figure. So the anchor and the jacket are a separate piece. Hopefully I've got footage up now of that. It's very dynamic, very well detailed. The massive chain behind her looks fantastic. There's multiple chains and multiple sizes of the chain. It almost gives it a lot more depth and detail, almost like the chain is curving all the way around the body and getting smaller as it goes behind, even though it is like multiple pieces. And the chain is genuinely getting smaller, but it gives a bit more of a depth of field type effect, which I like. And it just looks nice. The actual detail work on the sandy base is pretty good. It's almost just a little bit too drab. There is some finer detail paintwork done on it, but it just feels like it's missing just a tiny bit of texture and just a little bit bland. I think it is different to the original promo images they showed of the figure, but it doesn't ruin it by any means. In fact, it probably draws focus more to the figure itself. The massive anchor in the back looks fantastic. It's a little bit smaller than May's from Guilty Gear, from the figure that I looked at recently, but still a freaking huge anchor. And yeah, it looks really nice. I love the broken chain on the side here. Looks so good. I'm gonna rotate her around, and you can see more detail work. You can see some of the actual coloring on the sandy rock detail on the base here. You can see some beautiful weathering and detail and sculpt work on the anchor. More of the chain, how the coat flows. It looks so nice. It's a very, very good looking figure. And on the back here you can see more of that beautiful folds in the jacket and chain. It's just really, really well done. Really, really like this figure. And yeah, the sculpt is pretty much impeccable. Haven't really noticed anything off about it. It's just really good. Even these tassels on the jacket, I don't know if that shows on camera that well. These gold tassels here, they're flowing with the wind as well and all dynamic. It's just very, very nice. Now, in terms of paint, again, this is pretty impeccable. There are some very, very, very minor issues of like slight paint errors in between a couple of the lines, but nothing that is immediately visible. There is also a paint error underneath her arm here, but thankfully it is completely hidden, so you will not notice it. Oh, well, I won't notice it. I don't think it's consistent among other people's copies. But generally, those are the only issues I noticed. The shading and detail work on her hat looks great. I can remove that easily. So it's similar to the Portrait of Pirates chopper that I looked at. Hopefully that video's out by now, where they've shaded stretching detail, and it makes for an all-around better piece. And you can see how nice this hat looks. It's just simple inside, just sits on her hair, and the folds of that tassel look great. While we're here, might as well take a closer look at her hair without the hat. And you can see some other beautiful shade work. This is genuinely a transition of the hair color. It looks really, really nice. It's not just a trick of the light. And yeah, just really, really, really well detailed. Even these little tassels here are very cleanly painted. I'm not 100% sure if it's paint or a decal at the very ends. The intricate lattice work makes me think that it is probably a decal, but still beautifully applied nonetheless. The paint on her eye patch is also very good, as well as the little shading and shine in her hair just off the side there. I'm going to put her hat back on. So moving down again, see the detail work on her top is also very good. The paint on it is nice. There's a beautiful shadow just under her bust, and it makes it cast natural as well as artificial lights and makes it look that much better. The undershirt is all one color, but the curves of the body create a natural shadow. Her belly button also looks very nice. The skirt is also beautiful. There's a lot going on here and a lot of very careful paintwork, which I like. On her legs, there is a beautiful shadow cast and shading done on the stockings. Makes it look so good. So nice. And again, that same paint goes onto the shoes. There's some nice shading on the red, gives it a lot of texture and detail. It's the same sort of shading that they've been doing for the rest of the figure, as well as this very clean gold on the shoe. These are notoriously hard to do on most other figures. There's always been issues with things like this, but on this one it's beautiful. Some great weathering and dry brushing done on the anchor as well as on the chain. The chain looks rusted, the anchor looks rusted just a little bit as well. The matte finish on the skin tone is beautiful. Her face looks gorgeous. The gloves are beautifully painted as well. It's just pretty much perfect. The inside of the coat is well detailed too, as well as the cuffs. All the folds and paintwork is just, it's so good. It's just a great, great, great figure. I don't know how well it shows on camera, but this red, not this red, this, I'm colorblind, this blue tinge on the black coat is actually painted on. It's not a trick of the light or anything like that. It actually transitions from blue to black and just looks fantastic. It's very, very natural, very, very cool. And it's a bit of a shame that it's sort of hidden from the rest of the figure unless you constantly have this on rotation. But yeah, it just looks fantastic. There's just like nothing wrong with it. Even small muscular details like under the arms here, the folds just look fantastic. Just really, really good. Like I keep saying, there's just nothing wrong with this figure. It's just that good. And yeah, I guess there is a gimmick with this figure. It's not explicitly stated, but you do notice it when you assemble it. You can remove the coat, or you can not choose to not assemble the coat, choose to not put on the hat, and the hat fell a bit, and choose not to put on the skirt. And it's almost like a light armament version type thing. There should be footage up of that right now. And yeah, it looks nice. It does feel like the figure's lacking something in particular up top when you don't have the hat. But it is an option and it does look really good. It's nice to know that they didn't skimp out on any details at all. And yeah, it's just fantastic. Everything holds together very well. Marine herself is sort of like sitting on the base, but she's got two metal pegs in her feet. They don't go too deep, but they hold her in. But everything else sort of like secures her. She's even got grooves on her butt that slide into the anchor. So I don't feel like worried about this falling or anything like that. It feels very secure and very solid in hand. And yeah, just very, very good. I don't know how many little things on this references to her streaming. I haven't noticed anything on the base that could be considered a reference, but I just know that it fits her aesthetic. And yeah, it's just fantastic. Again, you do kind of have options. It's kind of a gimmick to do the light version, but I don't really consider it that much of an actual gimmick or posable thing. It's just something you can do that's kind of neat. But other than that, it's just a beautiful static figure with a beautiful dynamic pose. It's just all around great, and yeah, there's not much else to say about it. It is just fantastic. I guess the only thing left would be some size comparisons. So here she is next to a pop-up parade. So Marin is a 1/7 scale figure, and pop-up parades are sort of 1/10 scale, not exactly. And you can see just how much larger she is, and she is just a genuinely better figure, even though the cami is quite good. Here she is next to a HG Gundam, and they're about 1/12 scale, so around Figma size. And here she is next to SH Figuarts Anya, and Anya is 1/12 scale. She's just very tiny because she's Anya. But yeah, overall, this is just an incredible figure, and has an incredible price point to go along with it. She did pre-sell out in most places, but I believe she is a bit easier to find now that she has been released. And yeah, just fantastic. There's really nothing wrong with it. I guess the only thing that I could say is I should probably get into Hololive to appreciate the figure that much more. But in me liking it as much as I do with having no affiliation with the brand, that probably means something too. Because typically I like collecting things that I know what they are. I've broken that rule many times, but generally I like to know what it is. And for me, liking this without really caring about it, I think says a great deal. But yeah, if you can grab one and it doesn't break the bank, I would highly recommend it. It is a fantastic figure. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I will see you all next time.